Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Before I call the meeting to order, I'd like to welcome Brother Curtis Franklin here to say prayer.
Lord, it's good to call out your name. Lord, to know that you don't wince, but that you open up your arms and say, "Come unto me, my children." Lord, this is not church, but Lord, it's all yours. Lord, beyond the doors of those places, Father, we just pray that you do what you're capable of. But Lord, help us to let go and say, "Okay, Lord, you know best. You know better than we." So, Father, I pray your Spirit would visit here richly today, tonight. I pray, Father, that you'll just bless them with wisdom, and wisdom certainly comes from on high. And Lord, I pray decisions are made that are certainly continue to be in the best interest of the community and the children. Lord, I'm sure there'll be some here celebrating successes, and we thank you, Lord, for those. And I just pray that Spirit continues to thrive and is encouraged. Lord, thank you for each one willing to serve here today, tonight, and just continue to guide them as the days move forward. We pray it in Christ's name.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you. You're done.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. First item is Pledge of Allegiance. Would everyone please stand? And Miss Libby Clifton, would you please lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Libby. Next item is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Before we approve the agenda, I'll also make note that we have added number 3 for election of chair. If you recall, 2 years ago, we had elected Donnie and Jennifer, no, not Donnie, I'm sorry, Evelyn and Jennifer as chair and vice chair, and then we had a new election. We elected Donnie as the vice chair, but this is Jennifer's second year, so she's up. It's actually, we usually elect chair and vice chair right after the election of new board members, but since Jennifer's finished her second year, we need to elect a chair tonight. So, and then if you choose next year, you would elect a vice chair, or next year you can say you want to do Jennifer for 1 year and then do both of them again next year. However you choose to do that as a board. And Greg, you mentioned earlier, if you want to mention some of that, you can. It's time before when we get ready to do that. So just want to let you know we need to add that to the agenda number 3.
I'm going to go on and do the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Mr. Gatton made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Martin made the second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. Motion carried. That's you, Ms. Shepherd.
Okay, so on policy 01.41, it talks about the organizational meetings and election of chairman and vice chair. The term of the office for chairman and vice chair shall serve 2 years term beginning immediately following their election. And so Jennifer, this is her second year as chair. So we would need a motion to elect a new chair.
Yeah, what I was saying earlier before the meeting, I was talking to Jennifer, brought it up just in conversation. I think we need to get back to our policy. Our policy outlines that we elect a chairperson and a vice chairperson at the election of board members. So to get back on that cycle, we need to elect the chair, obviously, but I think it should be for a 1-year term. And I think that'll match up with Donnie's current term as vice chairman, or
Right.
sounds like
Right.
It will.
And
It will.
whoever we elect or whatever we do, I think
And you're back on.
maybe we start fresh and
You're back on the cycle.
yeah, back on the policy cycle.
Makes sense to me. I agree.
And I talked with KSBA and they said we're good doing it either way, so I'm fine with that. It's good. So we just need a nomination for chair.
I nominate Jennifer Buckland as chair.
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Congratulations, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Serve as another year for chair.
Absolutely.
Thank you and Donnie for
Thank
serving as chair and vice chair. We appreciate that.
Okay, with that being said, next item is School Board Recognition Month. Ms. Shepherd.
So I've asked Judge Onan to come tonight and read a resolution for our board members. We appreciate all the work our board members do each and every day for our students and always making decisions based on what's best for our students and our community. So I'd like for Judge Onan to come forward and read the resolution. And then you also have a small token of appreciation for me at your seat for some more Union County attire to wear to our sporting events. Turn over
Good
to you.
evening.
Good evening.
How are you guys?
Great.
Well,
It's good to be here. I enjoy coming. I know that, honoring in this fashion is a small token that we can do, but I'm sure the fame and fortune is enough that you all get to this. I get some interesting calls. I can imagine yours as well. So, but we do appreciate you for what you do. Obviously, you're here for the right reasons, and I say often, Ms. Shepherd and I have had this conversation. Our greatest asset in Union County are who you all are in charge of, and helping to mold, and that goes from the top here all the way through to our teachers and administrators, that they are in charge and helping with our greatest asset, what will propel Union County forward when I'm long gone and not thought about. And so thank you for that. Thank all of you all, the teachers here. I had the good fortune of being able to coach one of your students recently on a contest. And I told her, Mom and Dad, it gives me great hope for the future of Union County to see what we are producing and what will be the future leaders of this fine place. So if you'd allow me to read this. Proclamation honoring the members of the Union County Board of Education during School Board Recognition Month, January 2024. Whereas our community values a quality education as a vital step along the pathway to success for our children. And whereas Jennifer Buckman, Donnie Gatton, Lonnie Martin, Chad Hagan, and Greg Clifton contribute greatly to this community through their service on the Union County Board of Education. And whereas these decision makers are responsible for maintaining a strong, effective budgetary oversight, high standards of employment, and a safe, well-managed set of school facilities. And whereas these board members are serving our community with integrity, honor, and a commitment to our children's futures. And whereas January 2024 marks Kentucky's observation of their contributions through School Board Recognition Month. Therefore, I, Judge Adam Onan, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2024 throughout this community as School Board Recognition Month, and urge all citizens to honor Jennifer Buckman, Donnie Gatton, Lonnie Martin, Chad Hagan, and Greg Clifton for their service. I honor you and thank you for what you do for our community.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Judge.
Judge.
Appreciate it.
Judge Onan and everybody else in here, would you guys welcome Miss Abby to as our student board rep too?
Yes. So I have that in my superintendent report to welcome her as our new student board representative. And it's an honor and such a privilege to have student voice brought to our table now. So we're very thrilled to have her as part of our team. And we'll talk more about her in a little bit under superintendent report. Thank you, Donnie.
Next item is Union County Distinguished Young Woman, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you. We're very honored to honor Libby Clifton tonight. I'm going to let Lindsay Wells come forward. She is a member of the Distinguished Young Women Committee here locally, and she can explain the details of what Libby was involved with last week at the state competition.
Good evening. Thank you all for your support, first of all, and recognizing our program and Libby as the winner of the Union County Local Contest. This was our 49th year, so we're upcoming on our 50th anniversary, being a scholarship program in the county. Libby had the opportunity to go and be our local representative at the state level. She got to spend a week in Lexington. I'm gonna let her go over that with you here in just a minute, but what I really wanna say is that, you know, I believe that there were several, qualified females, young ladies, to be there, and they all did a great job. But Libby made this commitment on Christmas Eve to represent Union County, and, I don't know if I could have done it, but the tenacity, the, intrinsic motivation to get ready in 2 weeks, I just can't fathom that. So we really appreciate you for that as well. And I'll let you tell them about your state experience.
First of all, it comes to mind when I think about my experience over the last couple of weeks is the overwhelming amount of love and support that Union County has shown me. As soon as I committed to the state program, immediately our committee, Lindsay, and other members of our Union County Distinguished Young Women Committee started setting up mock interviews and fitness rehearsals and talent rehearsals to prepare me for this program, and all that love and support and encouragement is something that I don't take for granted, something that I really appreciate. But this program has given me so much in terms of skills and opportunities and opened so many doors for me. It's given me a lifetime of friendships. The girls that I met were very impressive and inspire me to be my best self, or to try to be my best self every day. And this experience is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and it's something that I don't take for granted.
Libby also brought home $550 from the state competition, which is more money than if you were to have placed in the top 10. So that was great too. And then I also want to say this, Rowan County, that's a pretty big county, and we were neck and neck with them for hometown favorite. And Libby and you all, and I want to thank you all so much. That was something new this year, was the hometown favorite, where you got on and you had to vote, you had to pay $1 per vote, and Union County pulled it off, and we were able to show Libby that she is our hometown favorite. You know, there were so many counties, so much larger than us, so we're really proud of that too. So, Libby, I will present you with this certificate.
Libby, I tried to follow as much as I could online, and I'm telling you what, you make Union County proud. You really did. Great job.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to say something else too, is kind of as a dad and as a school board member. And they said it all, so I'm not gonna ramble on, but, the support that she received was phenomenal. But as a school board member, the support from those that are employees of this school district, I mean, a lot of those volunteers in this local program are employees of Union County Public Schools, and, you know, the school itself supports the program with, facilities and time and opportunity there. So I'm glad to see that Union County Schools does that. Obviously, as a proud father, I'm proud to see her compete. But I also want to encourage all young ladies. I'm from far western Kentucky. We don't have this program west of the lakes. I've never heard of it until we moved here. So any young ladies that are juniors, that are going to be seniors next year, I highly encourage you to participate, because it's an amazing opportunity. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, next is KAGE Service and Advocacy Award. Ms. Howard, Dr. Howard.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I am up here now as a GT coordinator for our district, and we have two amazing GT teachers that I get to work with on a daily and monthly basis, and so I'm very proud of both of them. But tonight we are going to recognize Miss Abby Wheaton. Miss Wheaton was nominated by her colleague, Miss Brooke Morgan, for her exceptional service advocacy for gifted and talented children and youth. She will be recognized at the CAGE conference in February as the recipient of the 2024 Service and Advocacy Award in recognition of exceptional service and unwavering advocacy in support of the education of gifted and talented students. So I'm going to have Abby to come on forward, and I have a few other words I'm going to my family and my daughter say, okay, you in professor mode, because I get to write and I get a little overboard on it. But anyway, I want to write what I want to say. We proudly acknowledge Abby Wheaton for her tireless efforts and commitment to fostering the growth and development of our gifted students. Through innovative teaching methods, personalized attention, and a passion for nurturing individual talents, Abby has created a learning environment that empowers and inspires. Beyond the classroom, Abby has been a vocal advocate for gifted education, consistently promoting awareness and understanding of the unique needs and challenges faced by gifted learners. Her dedication extends to collaborating with parents, fellow educators, and community members to create a holistic support system for our gifted students. She has conducted professional development locally as well as regionally at our Western Kentucky GT cadre. Abby spearheaded the implementation of the 8th grade GT Academy. Abby was also recognized by her alma mater, Westminster College, in their college magazine in the Alumni Spotlight category. The title of that article is A Champion in the Field of Education. Abby's impact reaches far beyond textbooks and assignments. It extends into the hearts and minds of the students who have been fortunate to experience her guidance. Through mentorship, encouragement, and a genuine belief in each student's potential, Abby has played a pivotal role in shaping the future of our gifted and talented community. For these reasons and more, we express our deepest gratitude to Abby. Your passion for education, your advocacy for gifted learners, and your exceptional service to our school community have not gone unnoticed. You are a beacon of inspiration, and we are fortunate to have you as a dedicated advocate for the education of gifted and talented children and youth. Abby, thank you for your outstanding contribution. Your impact is immeasurable, and your legacy in the realm of gifted education is one that will be celebrated for years to come. Congratulations.
So I saw this thing on Facebook a couple weeks ago that said that there is something very unique and special. I'm sorry, every time I come up here to talk to you, about being allowed to be your own creative, unique, weird self. And that is something that's really special to gifted kids because we're weird and unique and creative. And I, first of all, this man right here loves a unique, creative, weird person like nobody ever could. And I'm pretty sure that I could sit down at our dinner table and say, this is my husband Mike, and say, Mike, I'm going to start a class that's going to bring peace to the world. And he would just say, okay. And you all, as administrators, have allowed me to be my own unique creative self. And that freedom that you have given me and the trust that you have given me, not just for the students of Union County, but in some cases your own children, is very, and your grandchildren, is very, very appreciative. So thank you for trusting me with your kids. Thank you for allowing me to be my unique creative self, because it's very easy to advocate for gifted education when you have the support of not just my administration, but my board as well. And a lot of places don't get that. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Wheaton.
Yes.
I just wanna tell you that every time you get up there, for various reasons, I've heard you spoke, good reasons, you are such an inspiration. Like, I cannot imagine being your student, and I say this from my heart. I cannot imagine being a student under you, just your excitement and your passion, and I mean, you can truly see that you are truly here for your students and to encourage them. And I can only imagine being under your leadership and your guidance, just from your words and just talking about what you do with your students, how it inspires me. Love your heart for the kids. Please keep going in that same direction and keep inspiring young folks to be them and to continue to use the gifts that God gave them and not to hide them no matter what. Love your passion. You're welcome.
Well said.
Congratulations again.
Congratulations. Next is Student Achievement Report. Dr. Howard. Hello.
I promise it's not the Dr. Howard show tonight. All that way today, this month. And I also want to say, we did want to recognize Abby tonight because next month is Gifted Education Appreciation, but we're all going to be at Cage when the board meets, and so I wanted to go ahead and get her recognized tonight. So that's why we went ahead and did it tonight. So now I'm here as Assistant Superintendent of Academic Services to report on our student achievement, and that is our STAR data. And what I'll be doing is presenting the data, comparing the fall term testing window to the winter. And high school just finished their window, so thank you, high school, for getting that in there to me. So I am gonna move through this briefly. If anybody would like a copy of this long report, I would gladly give it to you, but I am gonna try to move through very quickly. We're starting out with our elementary schools, and what you'll see is the kindergarten early literacy. This first one is all 3 elementary schools together, and as you can see, the number of those students scoring in that below 25th percentile dropped, and that's what we always want to see. And that blue bar is where we want to see it increase, the green and the blue. So we're very proud of that, and so we ask that they just continue moving along. Our kindergarten, they come in almost a blank slate, so we have so much room to grow with that grade level. So we're thankful for that. Next, you will see the breakdown by schools. And this is where we begin to have those conversations between our schools to see what's going well at one school compared to the other. And I'm not going to try to even read those, but as I said, those of you who would like to get a copy, I will gladly give that to you. Next is our first grade. And again, we look at, is the red going down, green and blue going up? Those are strong signs of improvement. And next is the 3 elementary schools compared. Next is, and that was reading, and this is first grade math. And you can see how much that blue's gone up. They really started pretty high for that first 9 weeks. And then the 3 comparable. And we do like to point out that this assessment, it is read to the students, so that's a big difference compared to when we get ready to look at our second grade data. That's when they have to read it all on their own, so you will see that, but you'll still see progress. So this is our second grade reading, and as you can see, from 48 to 33, so those students are moving in the right direction. And then there is a comparison of the three. Now we'll move to our second grade math. And that's some good improvement for, if you look at that, the blue bar, and those are students 75th percentile or higher. So we are encouraged by these numbers. And those are the three elementary schools. Next is our third grade reading. All three elementary schools together. You see some progress there. This is where it gets more difficult, and this is in our testing grade. So we really try to hone in and look at that data and see where it is that we can improve our instructional strategies for our students. Next is our three elementary schools together. Each of them, the red is going down. And I'm sure principals have talked, because they've already seen this report, and I'm sure they've been talking with each other, because they do quite often, okay, what's your third grade doing? What's your fourth grade doing? We need to know those strategies. Next is our third grade math. Improvement. Let's go on to the three schools. Fourth grade reading. That was close to half, cut down from 42% down to 27%. So that's pretty awesome for reading. And then the three elementary. And then we have our fourth grade math. And you can see the data looks pretty similar between the reading and the math. Let's go to the three elementary schools. Again, we see, that's kind of what we see, the novice being reduced. We can count that as novice being reduced, and that's what we want, because with state testing, novice gets you 0 points. And our fifth grade reading. And the three elementary. And then the fifth grade math. And I did want to point out the green and blue in math. Somebody's doing some teaching in math at our elementary school.
Well, I was gonna ask if, you may be gonna tell us later, but if I wait till then, I'll forget to ask.
Okay.
Are you seeing a higher percentage improvement in that movement this year over the last 2 years?
I started comparing that, and you have to kind of be careful because you're not
Oh, it's not
comparing
the
the
same
same
kids, I
students.
know.
Yeah, but just
Unfortunately, our
kind
state
of
does
look.
that all the time, so.
Yeah, but I did start looking and comparing, and in some instances, the trend was a little higher. But again, those are different students. And so when you look at the three elementary schools, you might want to look at Mr. Stanley and say, okay, what's your fifth grade math teacher doing? Okay, so now we'll move to our middle school. And our middle school, you're gonna see first all, grade levels together, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And this is their star reading. And there was some movement of a lower reduction in those students scoring below the 25th percentile. We do recognize that there's been some great, changes happening at the middle school already. The leadership, kudos to Mr. Coble and Ms. Dean and counselors and everybody, cause we're seeing some great trends happening over there. We're seeing a change in culture. And so we're really excited about the change that's happening there. So these are small movements, but they're moving. Next you will see Union County Middle School Star Math all together. And then you're gonna see a breakdown of the grade levels. So we've got 6th grade star reading. And again, these students also suffered 2 years of loss of instruction with the pandemic, and we're trying to get them caught up. And we've got our 7th grade, there's some reduction. And then our 8th grade. No reduction. And I'd also like to acknowledge that in elementary school, this, and I have an elementary heart, but students want to please their teachers in elementary school. They will work hard for their teachers, and so some of this may play a role in some of these scores. So we just kind of keep that in mind, that the importance of building those relationships with students, so they do want to work hard. Although it's their progress, you know, we know that teachers have good relationships, the students will do just about anything.
Yep.
So this is the math, 6th grade star math, and it's very similar. Improvements. 8th grade. Okay, and now we will go to the high school.
Can I ask a question before you get,
Sure.
one subject or one topic we talked about the last time we reviewed this data, I don't know if it was a year ago, or when it was, but, getting the students to, like you said, they want to please their teachers in elementary school, but in these older classes, in the middle school and before you go to high school, are the teachers, do they think that students are taking the test more seriously or putting more value and doing a good job? It seemed like there was some maybe lack of motivation on the students' part. That's what I remember our conversation.
I remember especially when we had a student voice from the high school to bring that up.
Yeah, I was gonna put her on the spot in a
So,
minute, but-
yes, and so that'd be,
A big thing that we try to do this year is help students understand what their score is. I think sometimes in the past, they take that test and then they're really unaware of where they're scoring or how, you know, really where it's representative even compared to other schools. Whereas this year, you know, we try to do a really good job of getting that not only put on the walls for our students to observe, but on an individual basis, step up and say, hey, this is where you're at, and then set individual goals based on that. We find that if they are aware of their scores, then typically they want to try and perform better. And it's neat whenever you walk through the halls, and Ms. King is all about data, and you know, she'll talk to students and be like, hey, did you see my star score go up? Like, that's kind of a win for us, because like you said, star doesn't represent a grade, so if we can get them to intrinsically find the motivation to do that, then we feel like we're doing something right.
absolutely. And I think that's what we really have to move to with our high school as well, because ACT, they can see the importance of that, you know, but, you know, a student who may reach a benchmark on ACT, but then they show up below the 50th percentile on STAR. So there's a disconnect there. So really trying to get our students at the high school level as well to see the importance of that data, because we want this data to be meaningful. You know, we don't want to just take tests just to be taken. We want them to be meaningful. And I think the high school is beginning, because this is the second year of everybody testing, and I can say there's been more students tested this year than last year. So they're really gone home by getting everybody testing. So now it's just making sure we pass on to students the importance. And hopefully Ms. Rhodes will be able to share that, because when you see this data, you're gonna be like, that's us. So we'll move on to high school.
She's like, oh, good.
So this is the high school, all grade levels for reading. And as you can see, again, the red, and if you look, there wasn't much progress between reducing those who scored below the 25th percentile. It's almost exactly the same. Let's go ahead to the next one. And so this is our ninth graders. And let's go to our 10th. And 11th. And our 12th grade.
I think you hit, I mean, I know our ACT scores have been going up. The average on them has gone up over the last 2 years,
Mhm.
and this
It's
still hasn't.
It's not a reflection. So if we can really get our students to do their best and for them to see an important reason for, give them the motivation for doing this. And so I know it's high schoolers and it's a different world, but we've got to reach them some kind of way so we can show that this is important too, because this is what we all can show you all throughout the year. You know, they take it 3 times a year and we can tell if there's progress or not. So we have to make it beneficial and meaningful to the students.
Well, it helps us determine whether our instructional materials are doing what they should. I mean, there's a lot of important data that we look at on this to decide what we're gonna do going forward.
Right. And I know there's some great things going on at the high school. So that's the reason I think this is not a true reflection of what all is going on. But hopefully the next one we're gonna see progress. Okay, so this next one is the math. Again, this is all grade levels together. Not as bleak as that reading was. Let's go to the individual grade levels, 9th grade. Go to 10th. And 11th. And I do notice there's a big difference in 11th grade. Ms. Nelson, would you like to?
I'm like, can I just?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Right. You know, if you notice, we're looking at the same groups of students taking a reading test and a math assessment, and the results are very different. I think there is, our math teachers are really bought in with STAR data and using it in their classrooms. Koval can attest to that because he helped kind of lead that charge a little bit with that team last year. Our English department, we still have some vacancies. We have some retired teachers that have come back. This is a new program to them. They are not quite as vested in keeping the conversation of STAR testing going. It's unfortunately kind of like an event. So we did it in the fall, and they came back, and the reading was our holdup. A couple of our teachers hadn't tested yet, and had it planned for last week, and then we were hit with weather and trying to just get the data collected. We got it finished today, but I don't think it's a true reflection of what they're capable of, and I think that's indicative of that, because we are looking at the same groups of students taking a reading and a math and very great differences. So.
And then the next is our seniors, and they look even better. So that is all of our data. As I said, anyone who would like a copy of this report,
I would like to, yeah,
okay,
please.
I will send those to you. I will forward them to Mr. Jackson has it, and he has board members' emails. Would you mind doing that? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Abby, do you have any ideas on something we can do to try to motivate?
Well, let me just say that STAR testing is just kind of like, I don't want to say put on the back burner, but I feel like as high school students, we're so worried about other things, like especially the ACT. Like the ACT is huge. That's what's going to get you into college. That's what's really the big
It's the scholarship
thing,
tie and
right?
everything.
And
right?
like colleges aren't looking at STAR, so I feel like if we can get past that and show the importance of STAR and show that the scores do matter, just maybe not as much as ACT, but if we can find some initiative to get students maybe not excited, but a little bit more like,
I personally wish the
just-
state would tie to the ACT instead of STAR testing separate, but they
Yeah.
are going to.
so I think if we can just find some way to show that it is important and the scores do matter, because I know a lot of students are just like, oh, I'm just gonna guess, it's just STAR, like, it
Right,
doesn't do anything, but it does, so.
yeah.
You think maybe like a little competition? Within the
Competition is
grades?
always a good,
I mean, I know we
good
do
way
that
to
at
go.
job boards, like we did that with the returners, from winter break and
yeah,
the dorm with the highest percentage that came back on time, got like Walmart cards and
Oh,
new
yeah.
TVs in the room, like if we could maybe do that between the different grade levels to put on a little competition. And
cause
maybe
we have,
do maybe a pep rally.
cause we have club competition, not club, like grade level competitions all the time for our clubs, and they always go over really well, like if we're doing like a hygiene drive, and the grade with who donates the most will get like ice cream or something like that, like people are gonna bring stuff in, so.
Yeah, like the
If we make
thing
it
at
a
the
little-
basketball game, they pass around that you can put money in and pie somebody in the face, and
Yeah.
like Jeremy Tackett brings like 5 boxes.
There was 100
Like I say, if this
Tackett
lasts
was
long,
such an easy
I'll
target.
buy it.
Yeah.
Good
Good
point,
point.
Jeff.
Like it sells itself, you see.
That sells
Where's the money go?
Yeah, that's right.
Something to motivate those,
Yeah.
that's what it takes.
So Abby and I can work on that, right? This month, we'll work on it.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is SBDM reports, and they are attached. And then next item is superintendent report. Ms. Shepherd.
Okay, thank you. So our first item on the superintendent report is welcoming Abby Rhodes as our student board representative. And she and I met last week and we talked about some goals she has and some ideas for making things better for our students and our staff. So I'm just gonna turn it over to her for a little bit and let her introduce herself and talk about why she's excited about serving in this role. And then each month from this point forward, this is her first month, she'll have a little section under superintendent report where she'll report out to you things, initiatives that they may start at the high school or things taking place there at the high school that she'd like to share with the general public. So I'll turn it over to you, Miss Abby.
Well, like she said, my name's Abby Rhodes. I'm a senior at Union County High School, and I recently got this position, so I don't have much info yet, plus the snowstorm we had last week. But each week I would like, or not each week, but each month I would like to come and maybe give a little report. I think that it's super important that the students get their voice. I'm very big into student involvement and giving youth a voice, and I'm very appreciative of this opportunity because I think that's a great way to bridge this gap between the youth and adults, our staff. And so, yeah, I'd like to just bring the students ideas. I think they're going to feel more comfortable coming to me versus bringing it to like a board meeting like this. So hopefully the students feel comfortable. I want to make them feel comfortable coming to me and bring their ideas and concerns and things like that, and then I can bring them to the meeting and hopefully we can negotiate some things, or I can come to Miss Shepherd. So, but yeah, I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
Well,
Thank you.
and
Welcome.
Welcome again.
Excited.
Really, my face
Thank
is
you.
so
Again, thank you, Miss Abby. We're looking forward to working with you, and we're so thankful that we have a student voice in our board meeting. So the second item, I just want to say congratulations to Morganfield Elementary and Sturgis Elementary. They received a math mini grant, and that was going above and beyond. They did not have to write that, but both of those schools chose to write that grant. And Riley Henshaw at Sturgis and Casey Danhart at Morganfield led that grant initiative, but that actually provided $40,000 to each of those schools for additional supplemental material they might want, or interactive boards in PD, professional development, things like that. So schools realize, just like we do as a district, you know, you're limited on the funds that come in, the revenue you receive. So if you want to go above and beyond and do extraordinary things, you have to write grants and use those monies to do it.
40,000 each.
40,000 each,
Wow.
each school. Yes, so kudos to them and their leaders. We appreciate them moving forward with that. The next item is another grant that we wrote, but this grant it's called ABCD Stop Grant. It is a Department of Juvenile Justice grant. It's a 3-year grant, but the ABCD stands for Acceptance, Belonging, Connecting, Diversity, Special Groups. So this main grant is to reduce and prevent violence, and this has been written through the West Kentucky Educational Co-op, so we're part of that co-op, and we are part of the grant consortium there. So it's not like dollars that come in, but they'll provide services. So the main thing that they'll be working on, it has 5 components. The first one is behavioral threat assessment, so they will come and help with those, and we already have a threat assessment team here working with them. And then the second piece is mental health programs. The third piece will be digital literacy, and that's about how to live in the digital world and about social bullying and things like that. And then the fourth one is firearm safety, and there's a program called Project Child Safe, and it teaches parents too about how to make sure to have safe firearms in your home. And then there's SRO training along with that too. And one of the things it includes is what's called Tassel Connect, and it's an anonymous reporting system to connect to our counselors and Friskies, so students can connect with counselors, but it's anonymous too. So they will provide a lot of services, and like I say, it's a 3-year grant, so this is the first part of that grant. So we'll have 2 more years after this year to benefit from that. So there's a lot of services that our students will benefit from. So again, kudos to my staff at Central Office for all the grants they write, because this provides more opportunities for our students in our schools. So and services, I thank them for that. And then I had mentioned that we're still working with our SROs. I have a meeting with Jason Thomas and Judge O'Neill tomorrow morning. Amy and I both meet after fiscal court tomorrow to discuss SROs. And then, as I shared with you on Thursday, House Bill 6 with Chair Petrie, he had filed a House budget bill that actually would, districts could receive reimbursement of up to $20,000 per SRO. So if that passes, that's, you know, in the very early stages, but we want to keep all those conversations in mind as we talk about next steps for SROs for next year. So I'll give you an update on that too. So the last item I have to share with you tonight is a notification letter that I would like to read to you. So it says, Dear Chair Buckman and members of the Union County Board of Education, it is with a mix of emotions that I announce my retirement as Superintendent of Union County Public Schools effective June 30th, 2024. This decision, though not made lightly, is a step toward facilitating a thorough search and interview process for the board to ensure the continued growth of our schools. As the renowned Bible scripture Ecclesiastes 3:1-8 reminds us, for everything there's a season and a time for every matter under heaven. In my 31 years dedicated to the field of education, the past 13 as your superintendent, it has been both an honor and a privilege to serve. My retirement is guided by the belief that life has its seasons, and it is now my season to step back and refocus on new priorities. In the spirit of family growth, I am delighted to share that I'm expecting another grandchild. You'll see my grandchild back there, Miss Lila is here, and we're expecting another. This realization has reshaped my priorities, placing my family at the forefront. Thanksgiving brought this joyous news, reinforcing the significance of cherishing moments with loved ones and creating lasting memories with family and friends. While my tenure as an educator spans over 3 decades, my newfound reason for staying involved in our school system is my grandchildren. They are the driving force behind my decision to remain invested in education. And who knows, I may even contemplate running for a seat on the Board of Education in the future. As I step down, my sincere desire is for my successor to lead Union County Public Schools to new heights. I pray that the board selects a superintendent who will operate from strong core values, prioritize the best interests of our students, and continue to enhance student opportunities. Special thanks are extended to our dedicated staff and board members who have unwaveringly supported our efforts to make great things happen for our primary customers, our students. Gratitude also goes to the parents and community members whose involvement has been instrumental in the success of our educational initiatives. I express appreciation to the Sturgis News, and to Johnny R. for consistently highlighting our students and staff for their remarkable accomplishments. Your commitment to factual reporting and spotlighting achievements has significantly contributed to the positive image of Union County Public Schools. Beyond rocking my grandbabies and traveling with family and friends, I'm committed to advocating for education on a broader scale. Addressing issues such as staff shortages and financial challenges will be at the forefront of my post-retirement endeavors. My heart will always reside within the walls of Union County Public Schools. Together, we can drive conversations about respect by highlighting the exceptional work occurring in our schools and collectively work towards restoring education as a celebrated and actively pursued profession. The best is yet to come. I want to express my deepest gratitude for the privilege of serving as superintendent in my hometown. I eagerly anticipate supporting the board in its future endeavors. I'm committed to supporting the selection of my successor in any manner the board chooses and ensuring a smooth transition. There is no doubt I will always be UC proud. Sincerely. So, thank you for allowing me to serve. There's a lot of decisions I need to make, and my family's first and foremost. You know, God's first in my family, and I have a lot of things on my bucket list I want to continue. And like I said, I have this second grandbaby coming, and after the passing of my husband, I'm like, I know every day's a blessing, and so we're going to cherish that and mark off those bucket lists, because you don't want to put off tomorrow what you can do today for sure. So I'm excited about that, and I want this current board to choose the superintendent as my successor, so that's why I went ahead and chose this is the right year. And all of my mentors have said, and my colleagues who've already retired have said, you'll know when it's time, and I know it's time. So I appreciate everything everyone's done for me, but it's time. And so with that being said, I went ahead and printed off the superintendent search outline for you all. So I have dates of when that will happen, just to let you know, because I know there may be questions about that. So there is a steering committee that will be comprised of these following members. You'll have 2 teachers who will be elected by the faculty. There will be 1 board member who is appointed by the board chair, 1 principal who is elected by the principals, 1 parent who is elected by the president of the PTO, and 1 classified employee who is elected by the classified employees also. And so the timeline, I've talked with our board attorney, and he's given me just a sample timeline, which we realize these dates might need to be changed to coincide with meetings and things. But basically what we'll start doing is today we'll advertise, begin the screening committee organization. So as the board, we would ask Jennifer as the board chair here to go ahead and authorize the board chair to notify appropriate groups to select screening committee members to advertise the vacancy. And so what Jennifer did tonight, we need to accept the vacancy and have her to go ahead and start reaching out to these members of the committee to start their work. And then you as a board can choose if you want a consulting firm like KSBA to do that work for you. I think that's what they did in the past when I was hired. KSBA was there.
I would recommend KSBA.
I would too, just from other places I know that have utilized them, and it's helped them quite a bit, so.
And one of the other things I would recommend, when you get to the point where you're actually appointing, interviewing, and negotiating a contract, that negotiation meeting, I told Amy today, I would expect to have your board attorney there, because when I went through this, the board attorney was not there, and I had the district's best interest at heart for sure, and took some things out of the contract that had been there previously. But I feel it's best that you have that board attorney there when you're starting to negotiate, and also Amy Morris as finance officer, knowing what the district can maintain. So there's a timeline from January 22nd. We will post my position tomorrow, and then Jennifer will start the screening committee as far as organizing that, mainly just notifying them that they're going to need to get involved, and then KSBA will come in and help take over the steps from that point. On this timeline, which is flexible, it says applications would close February 29th, March 10th, the joint meeting of board and screening committee, the first screening of the committee meetings, the charge and applicant files and paper screening begins. March 17th, the second screening committee meeting would convene. March 24th, the third screening committee meeting would convene, and recommendations finalized to the board. applicants' files and all notes turned over to the board. So the screening committees go through and they screen and they give you everything. As a board, you can take those recommendations or you can ask for more.
Right.
So you're not limited. You can actually interview everybody who applies if you choose. But the screening committees screen based on what characteristics you say you want in the superintendent. And then April 1st, there's a joint meeting between the board and screening committee to receive the committee recommendation, and the board planning meeting following joint meeting. And then April the 7th through 14th, the board interviews candidates, and May 1st, you have a new superintendent named. So I will let you all, I made a copy of these, if you'll pass it down the chat. But, so in case you want it, that's a general outline from Owsley, but like I said, if,
April first, regular board meeting, Abby.
right, I didn't even tell Abby. Welcome, and I'll be here till June. We'll make it work, girl. You got it. So this is my official letter,
Pass
Jennifer.
that down to,
So that's my official letter, and you're supposed to sign it, yes. And then, I would love to tell all of my staff members that, I was retiring, but I wanted to make sure I told the board and my central office team here, and then I have a email I'm getting ready to send out to all my staff right now, so you want to send, so.
Well, before I make a motion, you know, we've been through a lot together, and this is much deserved. I can't think of anybody that has went through what you have and still had Union County Schools focused in the forefront. But I agree, it's time for you to make the decisions that you made, and you feel like that you need to spend more time with your son and family. Rodney would want that, and so, do I have a motion to accept her letter? And
I'll make that motion with the caveat that,
Oh, Lord,
you will
yeah.
definitely be missed, and, I totally understand why you're making this decision.
Absolutely, thank you.
Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
That's a big step in the life.
all right, we
But
have a motion on the floor.
certainly.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
I'll say aye, I can think of second.
I'll second, that's fine.
Mr. Clifton made the second. All in favor? Aye. All
Congratulations.
opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. I
And then
appreciate
that gives me direction to let it all, start the process.
And I'll have, Michelle Hall tomorrow.
Ms. Shepherd, does everybody vote?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
I was just playing.
Okay.
Mr.
Michelle,
Catlett,
you will be so missed. I mean, seriously, I have learned a lot being on this board with you. And I mean, previously knowing you from our kids playing sports, growing up together, from Keyshawn sitting in your lap, eating all your candy, and Rodney messing with them. I mean, like, I had no problem coming on as a board member because I knew what you stood for. And I would not want to work with anyone who I didn't know had integrity, like, as their main value. So, you know, I've learned a lot from you, and, you know, knowing you previously, you know, where our kids growing up together, and just all the challenges that you faced and as we faced as a board, and watching you always deal with them, whether in the public or behind closed doors, with integrity, meant a lot to me.
Thank you.
It really did.
And that's,
I've never seen you make a decision that was not based on the policies. It wasn't, you know, you didn't base it on your emotions or your feelings or who you knew. You always followed the policies. I can also remember the first time we had, and I don't even know what it's called, but I don't even think we've had one since then, where a student was, I think you're ready to get expelled for something, and I started crying, and y'all was ready to go back out of closed session, and y'all had to come get me because I was hugging him and hugging the parents. Like, we can't do it. We gotta give him another chance. He was like, no, Monet, this is what the policy says. But, you know, I I value that because I value integrity myself. And so it's been a pleasure learning from you and working with you. And I know how important family is to you. And my husband and I love Rodney and love your family as well. So may God continue to bless you and Jared and his wife and the grandkids and enjoy life.
Well, thank you, and your family means a lot to me, and your children, that's one of the other reasons I feel like, we've dealt with everything and been strong, and I always want to put kids first, and kids, our students deserve somebody who can give 110% right now, and I'm doing the best I can, but I'm not 110%, so it's time. It's, our students and our staff deserve that, and I'm doing the best I can, but I'm the first to say, well, foggy, so, and it's understandable, but those kids come first, and they deserve more than what I can give them right now.
But thank you. Thank you for your honesty too. It takes a lot to even admit that,
100%. 100%. So I appreciate it. It's been wonderful getting to know each and every one of you. It's been fun, and Lonnie and Lord, Jennifer and Chad, and we've got some stories, like I said, from hearing things. After you're on here a while, it's like you learn. But I appreciate this board because I will always operate. I've said that from the beginning, core values. And I said, when you hired me, I don't like politicians and having to deal with the politics of public ed, because if you're just doing what's right by students, it shouldn't even matter. If you're a Democrat, Republican, whatever, just do what's right for kids. So I've always been honest about that. But still, I would go and advocate for kids, and I still will go to Capitol Hill and do that for our students and have more time for it when I'm retired as a retired association. So I appreciate everything. But that's enough about me. We need to move on.
I'll just throw my own two you leave big shoes to fill. But I came on, I didn't know you that well, and I oftentimes say this, I'm always trying to figure people out. So for 3 or 4 months, I was just like, trying to figure out what she was about, and I think I called on earlier than that, but I finally told her one day, I was like, okay, I'm bodying. You passed the test. This is hard sometimes, and it's we've laughed. I've left this building at 11 o'clock at night, and dang near had tears running down my face. It's hard.
It is.
And to go through things in life that are unexpected, to get up, to come here days after we buried your husband, those are hard. So you deserve it. You deserve to spend time with those grandbabies, Jared. And I'm super proud to call you a friend.
Thank you. It means a lot. I'm glad I passed your test, whatever that was.
Yeah, I just always try, I just try to figure things out.
How honest I was.
Personality, but I didn't know you coming on. So anybody, before I buy in, I'm gonna research and figure it out. But number one, it's whoever it may be one day that fills that role of your, you've got some very big shoes to fill.
Well, somebody will fill them and fill it well, I promise. We're all replaceable, and we've got a great team here, several who have certification that will get some of the experience. They're out there. It's just, everybody needs a chance to start somewhere, and I've got 13 years, so that's a lot of experience and time there, but it'll be fun, and I guarantee you, my team and this board's gonna hold somebody accountable to make great things happen, so I feel good. And we have the right people in the right seats, I think, right now, so it's perfect timing. 2 of my big goals was to get this building back in our name and to get that LABEC project started, so that design development's will be approved in February, so I feel good about it. Timing's just right. Thank you. Okay.
Again, congratulations and thank you for your service.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You're
Best
definitely
wishes to you in your retirement.
Thank you.
You're definitely the definition of Union County. You bleed blue every
I
single
will
day.
always bleed blue.
Every single
If I
day.
wear maroon, tack it will remind me.
I might say something if I see you roll up in maroon. I'm sorry, but
I will always be Union County blue.
There
I
you
promise. Always. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
All
Congratulations.
right.
We'll work together. So.
Next item is approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So
Okay, Ms.
Sure,
Martin.
you guys make that motion.
Yeah.
You make the easy
Yeah.
one.
That's the easy one.
Ms. Martin made the motion, do I have a
Second.
second? Mr. Hagan made a second, all in favor? All opposed, motion carried. Next item is financial report, Ms. Morris.
Okay, we'll review the, financial report for the month of December, as we usually do with review of cash. Cash reported by our balance sheet ended the month at $29,762,000. That's a slight decrease of only $30,000 across all funds as we begin the month with $29,793,000. Cash reported by the bank was $29,603,000, with reconciling items of outstanding checks in the amount of $278,000. So in looking at changes between the funds and cash, we experienced a significant decrease in our general fund, which is under $321,000, and also a decrease in our special revenue fund of $169,000. However, I just mentioned cash only went down by $30,000, so we saw offsetting increases in our restricted building fund and our instruction fund, food service, and daycare. And I'll review the reasons behind those increases with a review of activity by fund. So beginning with the general fund, I usually begin with a review of revenue, but I would like to first start with review of expenditures for general fund. So we're 6 months into our financial year. Expenditures year to date through December total $8,771,000. That's a 16% increase, or roughly $1.5 million over prior year. However, if you exclude the impact that we have of the flood over at the middle school, those costs included, as well as the roof at the high school, our expenses year to date are actually flat compared to last year. We're within $6,000, which with the increase in raises that we've given, I would expect us to see it be significantly higher just through our routine budgeting process. Now, salary and benefits net increase year to date is $75,000. However, we're seeing some savings in our utility bills and in some of our instructional areas and timing of when our insurance payments hit. So right now we're flat. However, I do see some of those timings of costs, like with insurance, we saw those increases in premiums. We'll hit over the next quarter. I'd like to spend a little bit of time on our revenue, so for general fund. So month-to-date revenue is $1,723,000. That comprised of our monthly payments of $675,000 in SEEK, $170,000 of utility tax for the month of October. We collected $244,000 in local property tax collections, $59,000 in franchise. We received $105,000 of in lieu of payments from TVA, $46,000 motor vehicle. We recorded $218,000 in Medicaid revenue for the month of December, $213,000 of insurance proceeds related to the middle school flood, and $71,000 in interest income. The Medicaid revenue typically receive about $13,000 to $14,000 a month. We actually recorded, so we submit quarterly billings to Medicaid, and then annually we file a cost report. And what we do is recapture all of our eligible costs, and then the state has a settlement rate for all entities that bill for Medicare and Medicaid. They take that rate that's established upon when they accumulate their costs, apply it to what we've submitted, and they look at whether we've underbilled or overbilled, because there are certain indirect costs that they attribute within that rate. So we actually received additional money back of $192,000 through that cost settlement, which is good. That means we're appropriately claiming our cost. If we overclaimed our cost, and you don't want to find yourself in a position, but Ms. Turner's department is stellar. They're actually experts, probably. I put them up against any other district in Medicaid billing in the state. So through accurate claiming of Medicaid, we actually get money back, and we don't owe. A lot of districts find themselves in a position where they don't manage that correctly, and they actually owe when it comes to cost settlement report. So, and also just talking about that cost settlement report. So again, we did receive $192,000. So you say every year that's money that you can kind of maybe include in your budget, but it fluctuates based on that utilization rate that's determined across the state. So 2 years ago, we received $103,000, last year $170,000. So that was a nice surprise to our budget. And then also the insurance proceeds. So this month we collected $213,000 in the middle school flood. So we have closed out the final insurance settlement, all but the pump. The pump is kind of an isolated claim. And so I shared this information. So the total cost of that claim was $1,742,000. Insurance reimbursed us $1,725,000, so we were out of pocket $17,000 on that entire claim.
which is our deductible and a little bit of disallowed cost on what they consider to be, permanent fixed assets. So it's not bad on a $1.7 million claim. So that claim is all but settled. But one thing I would like to kind of focus on are property tax collections. So property tax collections through December. So if you understand, everybody generally pays their property taxes November to get the discount date, December, and January. So our collections lag a month. So December, we're collecting November payments. So at the end of December, what's concerning to me, and I don't be alarmist, I just want the board to be aware, our collections were flat. We set a compensating tax rate of 69 cents that generated $700,000 more in additional revenue. So I anticipated for those collections to be a little higher. We aren't seeing that just yet. Just something to have kind of in our minds is we still have franchise tax that will come in over February and March. We still have oil tax for last year to be settled. It's just something that's kind of concerning me with property tax collections. That's revenue that we've set our tax rate based on data from the state and assessments. So that's not, it's kind of everybody's best guess at the experts at the state level. So just something to be aware of as we move through the next couple of months. So
you're not seeing December payments though, right? That's what I heard you say.
Not yet.
You're not seeing that yet, so, okay.
We've collected the payment in January.
Okay.
I already know we just collected it this week,
Okay.
and it's still flat.
Still flat, okay.
So it's concerning
It's not
to me.
this report, but you've
So
seen
the only
it.
thing we have left are the January payments.
We have oil tax from 2023, and then I reported to the board, we're lagging 3 years behind on franchise tax because the state didn't have the software to issue tax bills. So they've just issued 2022 tax bills. They have till August before they become delinquent. And then we don't know yet. I talked to Ms. Kathy Stevens, the sheriff's, when they're going to send out 2023, and then we have 2024. But we budget based on actual collections. So it's just something for us to be concerned about. I'm not alarmed. I'll have a better feel come February, March when the franchise settles and then motor vehicle additional payments come in. But it's just something that I want to bring. So year to date, our revenue, if you look at the financial report, is at 14%. But if you remove the insurance proceeds, if you remove the cost settlement report, we're up right at 2%, which is kind of not where I expected our cash flow to be at this point in the year. So, and I'll keep the board updated as we move month to month because that's a huge budget. It's what we budgeted our revenue to be to pay our budgeted expenses.
Something else to keep in the back of your heads after this year is we get a lot of property tax from Riverview and all their equipment. As they move equipment to the new mine and open up that new opening in Henderson County, we're gonna lose a lot of that property tax to Henderson County. So what we were getting from them is gonna become maybe half, if not more.
We
And
should
so-
move some of that from Madison here.
And if you recall, when we set tax rates, we were able to take compensating and lower but generate more revenue. And that's just the risk that and we may be fine. We may see the collections trickle in. But typically February and March, by beginning of April, you've collected as far as most of the tax revenue. And then you just have motor vehicle and delinquent for the rest of the year. So just something. It's good that our expenditures are favorable because we've had some unexpected expenditures come up. The boiler's not included in this amount yet. But just something to be aware of. Okay, so moving on to that's general fund. Our special revenue fund, month-to-date revenue was $156,000. We collected $156,000 through our federal grants via our monthly federal cash request. You can see the breakdown of year-to-date revenue and year-to-date expenses. Those are trending kind of as reported for the past 5 months. District Activity Fund, Fund 21, there's no significant activity to report. School Activity Fund 25 is updated annually. Capital Outlay Fund 310, there's no activity to report. Our FSPK 320. So a portion of our local property tax collections per our SEEK calculation is required to be put into the restricted fund. So we received $276,000 into Fund 320. So year to date, our tax collections total $612,000 into restricted fund. Construction Fund, Fund 360. So through November, if you recall, the first CD we had matured. So I recorded the interest income at the beginning of December. So I recorded $103,000 of interest income on that LAVEX CD. So through maturity, we had earned $295,000 in total, and then we're expected to earn about just under $500,000 on that for when it matures next November. We dispersed $33,000 in architect fees for that project. Debt Service Fund, Fund 400, there's no activity to report. Our next bond payment is due on April 1st on our 2013 bond issue. Proprietary funds, beginning with food service, month-to-date receipts are $178,000. We recorded $6,200 in interest income. We received our federal claim for the month of November in the amount of $167,000, $3,400 in non-reimbursable meal revenue, $1,000 in contract meal revenue. Year-to-date expenditures for food service total $751,000, and again, we're seeing that year-to-date increase well over last year. Through December, the increase was $201,000 or 36%, and that's attributed primarily to purchases of property equipment that I reported previously. Daycare Fund, Fund 52, we recorded tuition state payments of $12,500 into the Our Apples program and $2,800 in interest. We expended $8,600 for salary and benefits until the December grant proceeds were received under the state child care stabilization. Now we'll revert back to Fund 2 in December and pay salary benefits from that grant. And also as part of the financial report, I'd like to just give you an update on the middle school fire panel project. So right now we're looking at they're working on drawings for the new system. We're hoping to have construction documents to approve next month at the February board meeting and have bids ready for approval during the March board meeting, as long as there's time to properly advertise between approval of the bid documents in February, advertise appropriately, award bids, and have those approved in time for the March. I haven't looked at those deadlines. And also, as Ms. Shepherd mentioned, next month we plan to have design documents ready for board approval on the Laybeck project. So now our architects are responsible for designing the space. So today we kicked off meetings with the actual engineers to look at electrical, mechanical components of those systems. They want to meet back with teachers, talk electrical needs and whatnot. However, we have started geographical testing over at the site. So they're testing utilities, and so that kicked off 2 weeks ago, right before Christmas break. So a lot of work continues. Hopefully we'll have design documents in February. Still planning to bid that, have bids by end of April. So still on track. That's kind of what our time frame.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, any questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Morris. Do I have a motion to approve the financial report? Mr. Hagan made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Clifton made a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed. Motion carried. Next item is approval of payment of bills. Do I have a motion to approve payment of bills?
So moved.
Mr. Gatton made a motion. Mr. Hagan made the second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed. Motion carried. Next item is approval of expenses for superintendent's office. Is there any questions for Ms. Morris or Ms. Shepherd? Do I have a motion to approve the expenses for the superintendent's office? Mr. Clifton made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Martin made the second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Next item, public comments. There weren't any. And then next item, approval of consent agenda. Number 1, acknowledgement of personnel report. Number 2, travel report. Number 3, request for fundraisers. Number 4, trip requests. Number 5, leave of absences. Number 6, board meeting schedule January 2024 to January 2025. Number 7, Frisky School District Assurance Certification 2024 to 2026. Number 8, Facility Use Agreement Union County Elementary Wrestling. Number 9, Facility Usage Agreement Tradewater Pirates Travel Baseball Incorporated. Number 10, USDA Farm to School FFA Food Service Grant Acceptance. Number 11, approval of draft budget for fiscal year 2024-2025, KRS 160.470, 6A. Number 12, donation acceptance in accordance with Board Policy 4.161. Number 13, 2023-2024 salary schedule revision, transportation in-depth facilitator stipend. Number 14, declaration of surplus property for disposition by deed of easement. Number 15, approval of deed of easement, Kentucky Utilities Company. Number 16, acceptance as SFCC offer of assistance for debt service. And number 17, approval of owner architect agreement BG 24-2 3-0, Union County Middle School fire panel upgrade. Do I have a motion to approve 1 through
I'd
17?
like to ask a question on some of these.
Go ahead.
Number 9, will there be insurance? Will they have to
They
carry
have to.
insurance on that?
They have to provide all the documentation that goes along with that
Is,
facility.
They must have additional insurance.
I see the Union County Elementary Grassland.
Same thing.
Yeah, I just wasn't familiar with Tradewater.
That's the one that
Fire
remember Mr.
Protection.
Tanner, I still knew is gonna use the auxiliary gym, but they would have to provide all the same documentation that
That's
wrestling
all
or
I
anybody,
had.
Same.
kinda like
thing.
ADA or anybody,
That's all I had.
yes.
Okay. All right, any more? Do I have a motion to approve 1 through
So moved.
17 is read? Mr. Hagan made a motion, do I have a second? Mr. Gadden made a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Before I adjourn, is Jared out there? Could he come in for a minute?
Right here, baby.
You bring that little raffle rouser with him?
Yes.
I mean, that's all I heard.
Yeah.
That's out of his mouth now.
I knew
Jared,
Lila.
Before I adjourn, I just wanna tell you that, you know, we can say all day long the things we want to about Patricia, but thank you for the dedication that you have given and the sacrifice you've given. Cause it takes a lot to be superintendent of this school. It takes hours and hours and hours away from your family, and she gave it 110%. So I just wanna thank y'all.
And it may have prepared you just a little bit for being a
Yeah,
grandmother.
that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, right there. Do I have a motion to
So
adjourn?
moved.
Mr. Gaten made a motion, do I have a second? Mr. Hagan made a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.